Most people, they don't do something because they want to be confident in it, but in order to be confident in it, they think they have to be really competent, right? And then if they're confident and they're competent, then they'll have the courage to commit, the 4 C's, right? And the reality is that it works in reverse order, right? It literally works in reverse order. So you first have to commit to the thing that you're scared to do or that you know you need to do. Then you have to, after you commit, have the courage, right, to go out and do the activities. Once you have the courage for that, then you'll get competent over time and over the amount of reps that you're doing the thing that you're not good at yet. And that's what actually builds competence.
Welcome to the Loan Officer Team Training Podcast. Today, I have a very special guest, Jeremy Forcier. He is truly a force in the mortgage business and in his personal life. And everyone that knows him knows that he is a force. So it's a good name that you have, Jeremy. Welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's really nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. So we have a little bit of a past. Let's just tell the people who are listening how we know each other. And I'm going to let you give the version of that, and then I'll jump in.
No, it's great. I'll interview you a little bit about it too. So yeah, gosh, how long has it been? It must have been, I've known you for 15 years. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay. So 15 years ago, we worked together at the same company, First California Mortgage, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's how I was introduced to you, and that was at the very beginning of my leadership journey as well. Like taking on bigger things rather than just doing loan officer activities, but building a team and recruiting, providing support for other loan officers. So it's really funny actually to think about that time and see like what the progression has been, all the lessons that I've learned, all the mistakes that I've made, and how I'm operating now today. And I told you this right before we got on this recording is you are about as bright and shiny as you've ever been. You have always been a bright, shiny human being. And it's literally one of my favorite qualities about you is that you just always bring to the table such great energy. And I'm so honored to be here with you.
I appreciate that so much. It was so great reconnecting with you after so long. We hadn't seen each other in a really long time.
I know.
And we went to the Forward event and saw each other there. And it's just been great being in the group with you and just being able to be around you and feeling you're the bright and shiny one. In my life, you have been that positive force is what I would say. And you're always thinking of things that are helping people. You're always finding ways to help, not just your clients, your team members, everybody around you. And so I'm really glad that we're getting to see each other more now. And
that's so great. Yeah, I'm happy as well. It's nice to be reunited and it feels so good.
That's right. I love it. I wanted to ask a couple of questions that I think would be really helpful for loan officers listening today. You are a top producer and have been for a really long time. And I love to find out what makes people tick, what kind of habits they have, what do they do each day that makes them strong. I know you have some habits that you have, and I'd love to share some of those habits.
Yeah, I hear someone say like, oh, you're a top producer and you've been a top producer for a long time. What's interesting is the first thing that comes up for me internally as you're saying it is I haven't even scratched the surface yet. Like I don't think of myself as a top producer. I don't think of myself as someone who's arrived and that it's here, because the reality is that it's work every day forever. Like we're not in an industry where you can work really hard for like 5 years and then coast. It just doesn't work that way like at all. You have a 0 scoreboard every single month on the first of the month. And I think accepting that forever, I like to pretend like it's my first 5 years in the business all the time. Whenever I start believing my own BS, that, oh, I'm doing great and I'm X and I'm this. And I have those internal weird dialogues sometimes where I'm like, I can't believe I still have to do X. What am I talking about? Like we're in a business that literally is 0-0 from a scoreboard standpoint. On the first of the month, every single month we start over. We don't have recurring pass-through income. We don't get compensated like insurance people or financial advisors. So one of the mindset pieces and the internal things is hunger and humility. And I've lived by those 2 words. I have a list of about 10 words I try to live by as much as possible. I am not perfect, but hunger and humility are right up there at the top. Like always be hungry, always be humble. Never expect that you are owed anything ever. and always be hungry and you don't have to be hungry just to do volume, and you don't have to be hungry to make $1 million if that's like not a goal of yours, but be hungry to do a great job. Like, be
Yeah.
hungry to make new relationships, be hungry to make a difference in the people that you're interacting with on a daily basis. Be hungry to be the expert and to learn more all the time. Be hungry to build up other people around you as you start doing more loans and hiring team members because you need support. Be hungry to like pour into those people as well. So the first habit really is a mental habit of conversation and self-awareness, of just being self-aware that you're a human being. You're not better than anyone else. This is me talking to myself right now, by the way. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not better than anyone else. I'm just better at this certain thing. That's it. Like, I'm not a better person. I'm not like a better loan officer necessarily. I'm just better at creating relationships, wanting to grow, make sure I'm staying humble and learning. I'm just better at this one thing than other people are. So I think a lot of the times you just have to check yourself from a self-awareness standpoint. And the first habit is to practice self-awareness every single day of where am I at? What am I doing? Who am I serving? What's the purpose of all of this? And if you can just get into that one habit, then it makes all of the actions you have to do a lot easier.
Yeah, I love that. I remember firsthand, I went and shadowed you for a couple of days in California, and I was working in Arizona, and you said, "Come on over and shadow me if you want to," because I said I
Yeah.
wanted to like find out what you did and everything. And I was in this small community. Now I grew up in Los Angeles, but I was in
Right.
this small community of Kingman, Arizona when I was in the mortgage business. That's where I did it. And so I wasn't exposed to being around a bunch of top producers and the mindset that you have that's so specific. And so you said, "Come on over." So I said, "Okay." I jumped on a plane and went over there, and it was amazing watching you. I have told people this story so many times over the years about Jeremy Forcier and what I learned from him. Just watching you with people, watching you just from getting breakfast in the morning at, a coffee shop, how you knew everybody around you, how you were talking to everybody around you, and you have this aura about you that you've created. You have it on purpose because you really care about people.
Yeah.
That was very obvious to me. And that's why I connected so well with you, because we both really care about those people that we're around.
Yeah.
But I watched you, and then I watched you at the office, and then I watched you at with your clients and with different people that you associated with your team. And I was able to watch all the little habits that you probably don't even think about that you just do automatically.
Right.
And this was 15 years ago. I can imagine how it is now as well. But
Yeah.
I learned so much, Jeremy, from watching you and seeing your leadership in the company, seeing how you were the company coach
Yeah. Yeah.
and you gave us challenges.
Yeah. And that's why I said that back when I first met you, it was interesting time for me because it was my first dabble or like into doing that. And I always believed. So I'd say the second habit was belief. You need to like have a strong sense of belief. Now, doubt and belief work against each other, but we all have doubts, but we have to learn to doubt our doubts. Like when you
Yes.
feel doubt, doubt that doubt. Like put it back underneath the blanket, put some flame retardant on it, and you have to really go for it. So I don't think that enough people understand that to be a top producer in mortgages, real estate, in any sales job, really at the end of the day, you have to be willing to start to pursue and do the things that you want to do when you're not ready to do them. And the reality was at that time, I wasn't really ready to do that. I just knew I wanted to do it. I was like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to put something together. I really want to serve people. I want to coach people up. That is my fulfillment button, is when I can coach people up, see them do things that maybe they didn't think they could do, or they did, they just didn't know how or how to
Mhm.
structure it, and remove some of that fog sometimes that gets in the way of seeing like how to actually do something. So it's
Yeah.
funny to hear you say like that I was the company coach, when I guess so, a self-appointed company coach. And it was my first time like formally actually doing that. And I learned a lot throughout that process.
Yeah, but it really lit a fire under me for sure, having you as the company coach, because you gave so much and you were willing to share everything. And you also held us accountable. And I remember you gave us my husband and I used to be the ones to get the business, and you gave us a challenge to call. I can't remember how many people, how many agents it was in one day. And when you do this, there's going to be a prize at the end, and the prize was going to be a night at one of the hotels in
That's
Vegas.
right. It's funny how what you're really explaining right now is, there's a great book, by the way, by Ryan Leake called How to Work with Complicated People. And
Yes.
a lot of it is really about understanding yourself and that you're complicated too, and that everyone is themselves, and that's why it seems complicated, right? And one of these like theories, and it's not a theory because I've practiced it for 14 years now, is you have to get to know people that you're working with. And this could be on your team, the operations side. It could also be on your referral partner side or your customer side of understanding what is going to motivate them or what's going to make it click for them and then presenting it in that fashion. Like for me personally, I'm not super personally motivated by a thing, right? Like a trip or whatever it may be. Like I think it's cool still and it's awesome and I participate in that stuff. A lot of people though and you're proving this point right now, get super motivated if they know they're doing it for X reason, then they will just get after it and do it. Right. So that's
Yes.
why contests work a lot of the times or incentives work a lot of the times is you have to learn what is going to motivate, and I shouldn't say motivate, inspire people because motivation comes from within. Like I
Right.
can't motivate you. I can't motivate the loan officers that work for me. I used to think I could for a really long time, by the way, and that was a huge mistake. I'm like, I would get burnt out all the time because trying to motivate, but motivation comes from within. Inspiration, though, and targets and clarity and focus of what's going to get someone to do some stuff maybe that they wouldn't do on their own or wouldn't want to do is really critical, especially working within teams. As you know, I mean, you run an amazing company that's all about teamwork and operations and how that integrates. So, like, finding out what makes people click is really, really important. And knowing yourself, like, what makes you tick? What makes you want to go the extra mile? And then creating an environment around yourself that fosters that so that you can have self accountability rather than
Yes.
always having to have someone else hammer you to do something.
Yeah. Before that contest that you did, I never considered myself competitive. I'm not competitive with other people, only myself. But I wanted to see my name on that top 10 for the
Hmm.
company. And that was going to do it. And I knew it would. And so it wasn't so much the thing, it was the competitiveness with
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
And so we did
That's a
it and it was
that's
fun.
that's a really great point, by the way, is that anyone good in this line of work is competitive. And I think that we use the word competitive almost like a four-letter word a lot of the times.
I
Like that
agree.
it's offensive, right? Competitive, that means I have to like step on people's faces, right? And cut them down and undercut them and like say that they're bad. No, 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 no. You hit it on the head. Being really competitive with like what is my best is the best form of competition. And then competition with others can be fun too, just for fun, like competing against other people. But you're always just competing against yourself. Like,
Yes.
how can you compete against someone else if you haven't done your best yet? It's not even possible, really.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good point that they're making without even trying to make it, is that we all have competitiveness in us. Like I'm competitive and I'm starting to finally embrace that out loud. I used to hide from it and like, whatever, I'm not competitive. I don't want to be seen as that guy. And I had this weird self dialogue with myself of like, I don't want people to think that I'm competitive because I think that competitive people don't care as much. That was my internal dialogue for a long time.
I could see that. That's how I felt for a long
Yeah.
time too.
I mean, I think it's pretty normal with people that have a big heart. You have a big heart. I have a big heart. I can't help it. Like, that's why I want to help everyone. Like, I just have a big heart. At the same time, though, I am totally psychotically competitive. I want to win. Like, I want to do the best that I possibly can, not at all costs, right? But I do want to give my best effort all the time. So,
Yes.
habits of, I'm going to keep tying this into the habits that you talked about, right? So we have like self awareness, we have competitiveness, we have to know why we're doing the things. These are all things like attributes that top performers have. And the cool thing is that you can learn them. It doesn't have to be a
Yes.
natural that yo, you're super, super competitive. So you're going to crush it in real estate, mortgages, finances, whatever. That's not true, actually. You can
No.
learn all the behaviors and the disciplines and then become competitive for a reason, right? To be your best. And that's the easiest reason to become competitive and to learn to become competitive is that you just want more out of your life. And there is nothing wrong with that.
That's true. Yeah. What other habits do you have that how about let's talk about fear a little bit. We all
Oh
deal with
boy.
fear. And
Heck
there's
yeah.
been a lot of fear over the years in the mortgage business,
Yeah.
different times of, good times and hard times. So how do you deal with fear, Jeremy? What do you do when fear crops up for you?
Hey, so I'm going to say a name that I know you know. Okay. And this is my fear mentor. And it was just in one conversation that happened a really long time ago. There's a guy named Roberto Monaco. Okay.
Yeah, I
And
know
Roberto
him. I love
Monaco,
him.
he's fantastic. What a great human being. Had a really big positive impact on my life in a very short period of time of working with him over a year or two. Right.
Mhm.
And what I will always remember Roberto tell me when I would be fearful is he would say, feel the fear and do it anyway. Like,
Uh-huh.
it's okay to feel fear. Fear is a real feeling. Usually, though, fear is just the unknown. That's all it is. So I have a little sticky note right here that says fear equals the unknown. That's
Mm.
it. That's all it is. So I don't mind feeling fear, but I won't let that stop the action, because the easiest way to alleviate anxiety is to get into action. The easiest way to squash any type of fear that you have is to run into it rather than run away from it. So,
Yes.
yes, we all have fears. That is 100% true. I have fears that pop up all the time, for sure, but I just feel it and I do the thing anyway that I'm
Mhm.
afraid of. The second part of fear, too, is that if you can write down, like, okay, why am I feeling afraid? Why am I being fearful right now? And then you can write, usually you can't write down very many reasons why, which is the truth. And then when you're done, though, if you look at it and go, okay, so really I'm just afraid of the unknown of what's going to happen if I do X. Well, if everything is unknown, let's make as many things known as possible, and then you won't be as afraid. So I have this conversation with clients all the time too, when they are worked up or scared. And I just ask them, rather than trying to be the salesperson that's moving all around, trying to figure out like what are they afraid of? I just literally ask them, I'd say, hey, Irene, so tell me, like, what are any like big fears or concerns that you have about this purchase,
Mhm.
right? Or getting a home loan?
Yeah, it's
And
better to
then
ask them up front.
just ask them. And what's hilarious, once again, is they always say, well, what if I lose my job in the future? Or what if the home price goes down? Or I could keep going with like what are pretty typical responses, right?
Uh-huh.
That I get from most people. Now, if you notice, well, what if I lose my job in the future? That is the unknown. Once again, it's all unknown stuff. Well, what if the house
Yes.
price goes down? Well, that's unknown. This is all unknown stuff. So when you can make those fears known for people, for example, what if I lose my job? Well, what if you were renting and you lose your job? Like, how would you pay your rent? And
Yes.
then they have a light bulb that goes off, right? They're like, yeah, I mean, that's really true. Yeah, I know. It's all good. Like, well, what if home prices go down? Well, then they go down and they also go back up at some point in the future. But guess what? Your mortgage payment never changes. So you just keep paying your mortgage. Like that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
And so if you can have these conversations with clients, you'll also be able to deal with it better yourself. Like oftentimes when we're teaching people things, we need to realize that we're also reinforcing and teaching ourselves at the same time. So for me, fear, yes, it's real. I usually just write down, what am I really afraid of? I always realize that it's some unknown thing that I won't know that will happen or will happen. And then I smile and I laugh at myself and I go, so I'm afraid of this like mystical, magical thing that I don't know. So fear is real. Now, I'm not saying don't be like reckless with like what you do. Be thoughtful still about the things you want to do and the things that you're afraid of, but just feel the fear and then take a micro step that day, not some huge step. Like if I was developing a new processor system and I was fearful of putting it into play because what are the operations people going to think? Like, is it going to actually work with the client from a communication standpoint? I do all this same stuff as well. Rather than do all that, I just go, okay, well, let's just make one micro action today that I can take that moves me just towards completing the thing that I want to complete. And if you
Mhm.
just do that, if you're scared of calling 40 realtors, that's a number people like throw out all the time. Like I rarely ever have ever called 40 realtors in a day. I mean, I do it like in the contest I did with you that you were talking about, but like
Yeah,
on a consistent basis, like that's really hard in one day just to do that and knock it out. Well, if you're afraid to do that, why don't you just start by calling two?
exactly.
Like today, rather than making it the big thing that seems scary that you can't accomplish. Once you do two, then four is easy. Once you do four, then eight is easy. Once you do eight, then 20 is easy. Now it just
Yes.
becomes a timing issue. It doesn't become I'm afraid of making a call issue.
Are you holding off on training your loan partners, your loan assistants, your team members, and support staff on how to wow your clients? Are they getting that kind of training from you? You probably plan on training them if you get a few extra hours, but when does that happen realistically? And meanwhile, your team is doing the best they can with the information that they have. But this kind of training really doesn't exist anywhere else. When you do the training, that means you're not as responsive as you want to be with your clients, and you're not hitting your closing and income goals as a loan officer. So how much is it costing you to not have a team that's properly trained how to wow clients and referral partners so that they only want to work with you because of the great experience that they're getting? We teach them how to use efficient step-by-step processes and systems that work, how to follow up so nothing falls through the cracks and loans close on time and even early, how to build wonderful relationships with clients, how to wow people so they go, man, that was an amazing experience. The members of his or her team are amazing. They're so on it. How to use scripts and dialogues for winning clients, setting expectations, and communicating with clients so that you can prevent problems down the road. How to handle difficult clients, how to make clients feel appreciated and valued, and how to handle and overcome objections. It might be time to ask for some help. That's why we're here. Loan Team Training has our next live WOW training coming up. We train your team for you so you can focus on closing loans. Check it out at loanteamtraining.com for our next class and see how many 5-star reviews we have from past WOW training participants and their loan officers who sent them at loanteamtrainingreviews.com. Remember, it's an interactive virtual training with live trainers, and we train any of your support staff that is communicating with clients and referral partners. Our sessions are 9 to 11:30 Pacific time. Check us out and sign your loan partner or team member up at loanteamtraining.com.
How do you handle rejection? Because that comes up a lot for loan officers. They don't want to do something because they're afraid to be rejected. And not just rejected, but they're afraid to fail. What if it doesn't work?
Well, you can't fail if you get rejected, which is kind of funny.
I agree.
I mean, if someone rejects you, did you fail? No, you didn't even have the chance yet. So for me, rather than being afraid of being rejected, I'm afraid of not securing an opportunity or a chance, right? So I reframe it. Like if I don't do the call, I don't even have the chance. So really, I'm just going for the number of chances I get. So rejection really doesn't matter at the end of the day. So and maybe I'm psycho about this, by the way, and I fully admit it. If anyone's watching, they're like, okay, that sounds unique. I actually have zero fear of being rejected. None.
Did
Zero.
you when you first started?
Of course. Yeah, I was like a dancing clown. Like I would do anything like to get people's attention. I used to want to make people like me a lot because I thought that was an easier way to not get rejected. But then you have a different set of rejection you have to deal with when people actually learn who you are and maybe they're not who you thought they were. Me, for example, like I'm not a stand-up comedic clown like who just messes around all the time. Like I like to have fun, but if that's their whole basis on them liking you, as soon as you have like any type of professional conflict, now they're rejecting who you really are. That hurts way more than like just simply making a call. So if you have call reluctance or if you are afraid of being rejected, you need to realize that you're being rejected by 100% of people by calling none. You're not even giving it a chance or an opportunity to build a relationship, to make a difference, to make a connection. So if you can reframe your mind to, if I don't do this thing because of my fear of rejection, the reality is you just are batting 1,000 for being rejected. Like if you don't do the call, you're literally being rejected by everyone, like all the time. And it's just something that takes practice. Like you just have to get used to people saying no. Like once again, fear of the unknown. Let's go back to fear of the unknown. So they say they're feared of rejection, so they don't make the call. Well, now that's fear of making a call. And the unknown is like that. Am I going to get rejected or not? How about you just know going into it that you're going to get rejected all the time and just know that. And then it's not nearly as scary. And when someone is rejecting you, they're not rejecting you as a person. And this is where people take it so personally, right? No one's saying like, Irene, you're an awful person. Like, ugh, you're awful. Don't ever just, ugh, I would never meet with you. I would never, they're not rejecting you as a human being. They're just not ready right now for whatever it is you have to offer or for what you want to explore with them. It takes two people to be ready and open for a conversation, a connection. Yes, I'd like to work with you. Maybe we should start a relationship. Maybe we should start a partnership. That takes time and timing in both people's lives. So I don't look at rejection as being rejected at all. I look at every no as that just means just not right now. It doesn't. So no to me means not right now. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It doesn't mean no forever. It just means that no, not right now. That's great. That's no problem. It's like rejection is a big thing that holds people back. And I think you just have to literally reframe it that number one, you're going to get a lot of no's. Okay. It's just the way it is. Like I talked to some loan officers and they're like, I don't really get a lot of no's. Like I convert like 90% of my leads, into contracts. And I'm like, number one, you don't track things because that is not true. And number two, I guarantee you that you're not closing more than a loan or two a month. Like if you're saying your conversion is that high, you're not even talking to enough people. So it doesn't count if you're only doing a loan for your brother and your mom and you say you're at 100% conversion. Right? You're not generating leads. You're not taking any risks. You're not putting yourself out there to serve more people. You will get more no's. And once you get through that, let's go to the next step. So you get through that rejection portion mentally and you start doing all the calls. I have a guy, Michael, who sits next door to me right now, who is under my wing. I'm mentoring him and he is full on doing the things, uncomfortable and just doing the things that I'm suggesting that he does. And he has more loans now than he's ever had, but he's also feeling a lot more stress now. And what I'm having to work with him on is that, hey, this stress isn't that more people are saying no. It's just you just have more loans going on, right? And so you have to let go. It's the same percentage of people that are saying, no, I don't want to work with you, or an issue on a file. It's just that when you have 12 active files versus 2 active files, like you feel like you're losing more, but you're not. Right. You're getting more dialed in with the type of people and the number of people that actually want to work with you for who you are and what you have to offer.
Yes. I love that you brought up tracking too, Jeremy, because tracking is so important and not enough loan officers track.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tracking is so good because it really helps you see the truth.
Yes.
Because the numbers don't lie.
No, not at
And
all.
you don't really know what you're doing or how you're doing or what your conversion rate is. I asked somebody the other day, what is your conversion rate? And they didn't know. They didn't know their conversion rate.
I think most people don't know, honestly. I think people that even say they know don't know. Like they're guessing a lot of the times.
Yes.
So that is a definitely habit of any top producer that I have personally coached through my coaching over the years, or that I know that even that I haven't coached. Tracking is a really big deal because you can't fix what you don't track.
Exactly.
It really shows you the scoreboard and the effectiveness of your activities. So yes, I have been tracking how many face-to-face appointments I do, how many, points of contact do I have during the week with past customers, current customers, real estate agents, referral sources. I track all of that. And I have for a really long time, track all the leads as well, every single month. Where did the leads come from? Who referred them to me? How many did we pre-approve? How many did we get into contract? How many could we not qualify or say, no, I don't want to use you? Right. And it's so important to track that stuff so that you can identify a number of different things. You can identify, and I'm talking about leads right now in particular. Number one is that you can identify your referral sources that may refer you a similar type of client all the time. And that can be good or bad. Okay.
Yeah.
So you need to know, like, okay, maybe we're not in alignment. This particular agent only refers me 550 credit. I'm making all this up. 550 credit score customers, or only people that want to purchase that are totally never qualified, like for what they want to purchase. So that allows me to then look at that insight from tracking, have a really good constructive conversation with the referral partner on, hey, you know what I noticed? I noticed a trend, right? I noticed that. So how are you generating your leads? Right? How are you getting these people? What is your conversation like when you talk to them? Because I could give you some super easy, simple scripts and tips that we could work out together to know how you can qualify from a standpoint of like, how much time should you be spending with them right up front? Or if this is someone that you should even refer over yet. And so little things like that, you have to look into the details of type of referrals, referral partners, conversion of those, is there trends? And then you'll also start to be able to see trends of like your personal conversion rate within the ones that you did pre-approve or the ones that did go into contract. Like how many did you actually close from that?
Yes.
And then you can start seeing was there anything I could have done different? Right? Like in the conversation, offering them maybe something different. Like, why didn't they use me? And I think we're so afraid sometimes to like ask ourselves that question. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, why didn't they use me?
Yeah.
Right? And usually, guess what? You know exactly why, because they usually tell you. It's very rare that someone just completely ghosts you, period, and doesn't say, hey, I'm moving in a different direction. We got X offer, right? Like from this
Mm-hmm.
other company, whatever it may be. But you have to be willing to ask that too if someone isn't getting in touch with you. So tracking leads, extremely important. Tracking activities, extremely important. Same goes for the tracking your activities. This is a funny story, true story. So I have a individual who I've coached, on and off for a long time. And whenever they get into a rut, I'm like, hey, are you tracking your number of calls? Right? Are you tracking how many people you talked to, how many people you met with, how many times you asked for the opportunity or the referral, the introduction? Are you writing 20 thank you cards like every single week? I just go through the basics, right? That I still do to this day. And of course, they always say no. I'm like, all right, let's get back on it. And then they'll turn in a sheet that says that like they talked to like 110 people, but they got like 3 leads. And I'm like, okay, if you talk to 100 people a week and you get 3 leads, there's only one of 2 issues that I know with 100% certainty after all my years of coaching hundreds and hundreds of top level producing people. There's only one of 2 issues going on. Either number 1, you're lying. Like you didn't like that's number 1 is that, okay, maybe you called 100 people. Did you really talk to 100
Mm-hmm.
people? Right. So that's number 1. And number 2 is, let's say you did talk to this 100 people and you only got 3 leads. Then we know that we have a sales conversation issue. You're probably
Yes.
not asking for the right type of introduction, referral. You're probably not asking at all, or you just don't know what to say. Like when you get on the phone in order to help that person. Another thing that I see that's very, very common in individuals is that they'll have like the same person they talk to like 15 times in a week. Well, that's where, once again, if you're not tracking, you can't evaluate that and go, okay, I've only done one deal with this person over the last 18 months, but I talk to them 15 times every single week. Like, am I spending my time? I'm not saying don't talk to that person. They might be a great friend, cool business person that you work with and you do a deal here and there. But the amount of time that you spend with people is critical to your success. If you're looking to build and scale and grow, you have to spend more of your time with the right people.
Yes.
And you won't know any of that if you don't track anything.
For sure. Tracking is good. Even in my business today, I track. I track
Yeah.
who I'm talking to. I track the lead follow up. I track everything because I got in the habit of tracking when I was originating. I know how important it is because one time we had a builder that came to us and said he wanted us to move into his building to have an office in his
Yeah.
building. And we looked at the numbers, and if we hadn't tracked, we wouldn't have realized he sent us a lot of people, but those people didn't close. And
Exactly.
so we decided not to move into that office because of that reason. It was going to be an extra expense, and it was just for convenience for that builder. And it normally would have been good, but we saw the numbers and knew that it wasn't the right move for us.
Yeah.
But if we hadn't tracked, we wouldn't have known that.
And that's so smart because, when you don't track, all you have is emotional excitement, right? So in a
Exactly.
scenario like that, I call it emotional exuberance, or the ecstasy part of the curve of the circle where you're just like, oh, you can relate to this. Like we've all done
Totally.
it. I've done this 1,000 times previously in my career, and it still happens to me like probably once or twice a year, and I have to check myself, where you get a big opportunity or you have a great meeting and you feel like you've won, right?
Exactly.
You just literally are like, yes, like, oh, I crushed that. That's the biggest, it's a game changer. It's going to change my business. Like you get into this lottery type of mindset, like you just won something. That's why tracking is important. You can go back to the data when you're feeling this crazy excitement, have it ground you a little bit. And like you did, looked at the numbers. Does this make sense from an expense standpoint for me right now? Like how many of these people actually close? Like, gosh, like what a great way to be able to go back to that partner, the builder in this example, and have like a constructive conversation around, hey, here's the reality. Like, I don't think it really makes a lot of sense for us to move in, like, because we're just going to add extra expense and I don't see it increasing the profit margin unless you can tell me different. Like so what do you see on your side? Like it gives you transparency, right? Which is a word that's thrown around a lot as a buzzword, which irritates me because true transparency is what we're talking about right now. Having data, having real conversations, and then being able to work through it with people.
Yeah. And that's what I did. We went to him and had that conversation, and he realized it wasn't a good fit either.
Yeah.
And he was impressed that we tracked like that, because he didn't know. He wasn't tracking that way.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so it worked out really well.
Yeah.
So
So tracking is incredible.
tell me what fun things you're working on. What's some new fun things that you're working on, Jeremy?
Oh my gosh. Fun is one of my mandatory requirements of my job because when I'm not having any fun, I don't have to have fun like, 8 hours a day. But if I'm not having even a sliver of fun in a daily basis, I know that it's a problem for me. So yeah, I integrate fun in general, like into my daily routine and habits, right? I always want to do something that I really enjoy for myself. I am, though, having a lot of fun right now rebuilding the vision of my operations team, staff, loan officers, the type of people that I really want to hire, like moving forward from a loan officer standpoint to pour into. And we talked about having a big heart earlier, and sometimes my big heart can get me in trouble. My big heart, it wants to be like, come with me. If you say yes and you will do the thing, like I want you here and I want to help you. And I've realized that there's a difference between someone saying they want to do something and someone who's committed to wanting to do something. Right.
Yes.
So like I'm committed to working more closely with the people, even within my organization, that are constantly showing and committed that they want to do the thing. They want to learn. They're thirsty. They want to learn exactly how to say things differently, be more influential, aren't negative all the time. So I'm having a lot of fun kind of rebuilding as I grow in this next phase of the loan officers I'm looking to hire. Like if you're really committed and you're ambitious and you have big goals and you have a vision that you want help with or that you want to actually fulfill, then I think that I'm just like the right person, like to help those people. If you want to learn how to build your own team, I think I'm the right person to help those people. So I'm having a lot of fun just rejiggering like the next growth phase of the type of humans that I want to bring into my organization. The other thing that's really fun and exciting that I've been working on for a little bit of time is launching my own coaching program, right?
I love
Yeah,
that. Tell me about it.
that's great. So RizeCo, Rizeco, it is something that I'm super passionate about. I've been working with Dave Savage and Mortgage Coach for my whole career. He's one of my original mentors, and he and I, he's been pushing me to like, hey man, you should really do this. So it's in progress right now, but we're going to create a community like no other. A community of people that are resilient and that want to rise through adversity, cheer other people on, really know how it's going to be elite. And then there's going to be a community. So I'm only going to coach about 20 people. I'm not looking to like go crazy and get 1,000 clients or anything like that. I'm looking for 20 people that really want to change their lives. Maybe they've already been through a number of different coaching programs before, and they have some, foundational stuff, but it's just never really clicked for them. And my experience in coaching before is that I think it's good to have structure that like, here's like the overview structure that everyone, follows, basic habits, et cetera, tracking, stuff like that. It's all really important, but really getting to the individual level, like of the one-on-one and like, what does the individual actually need to get coached on rather than just being in a group coaching environment, right, has been missing. And the reason why I know that's true is that I've had, a personal one-on-one coach for the last 2 years. And I'm like, wow, this is really different when you are just one-on-one coaching with an individual where you can go really deep. So yeah, we're going to do some really fun experience stuff. So think like weird places that you wouldn't normally have, like a conference with just 20 people that go really deep with on business, team, scaling, money, wealth creation, and having a really lot of fun during the process. So that'll be the offering that, we're working on right now for a very small group of people. And then we're going to create a community all throughout the next year. That will be open to anyone that wants to be a part of monthly calls, et cetera, scripts provided for them, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it's really, really, really fun. Just making sure that people understand that we all evolve like under pressure. We all adapt in motion. So we all have to be in motion, like in balance. Like we have to learn to I don't believe in life balance. I'm just going to say it. Okay. So here's what life balance really is to me, is that balance really is just drive, having your drive with depth. And balance is really just learning to be where your feet are at all times. So being really present. Like you're never going to have like an equation where you're like, I spend 6 minutes with my family here and then I spend 6 minutes working and I spent like, people think balance as it being equal. Balance is really just about being super present and 100% all in and engaged and committed to whatever it is that you're doing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm at home, for example. Like, I am not the crazy guy that I was 13 years ago that's like checking his text messages every 5 minutes at the kitchen table and like sneaking away in the garage, like to, like pretend I'm doing a chore and then like doing some emails or making a phone call. Like, you can get so much more done with real balance of just being 100% committed to what you're doing. When I work, I work,
Yes.
and I work really hard and I'm super effective. Right. When I'm home, I'm home. So having like balance is really just balancing your drive with depth of your life, and then winning without compromise, like not having to work with a bunch of people that you don't want to work with. Right.
Exactly.
And not have to compromise your values if they're not in alignment with someone else, and learning and me teaching people that saying no to those type of things, because we all suffer from one fear for sure. And it's the fear of loss. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're afraid that if we don't get that, we're not going to make the check. Or if we don't get that, not only do we not make the check, but now the referral partner is going to think it's all, we make up all this stuff
We do.
that isn't true. But when you start operating from no fear of loss, all the right people come into your life.
Boy,
Like,
that's so true.
all the right opportunities start showing up because you have more energy to pour into all the other people that are sitting over here raising their hands saying, I really do want to work with you. I would be happy for you to help me. But we waste all of our time on the people we feel like we're losing.
Yes.
So these are just some of the basic concepts that I have outlined that we're going to go really, really deep on in our program. And I'm just excited to be able to serve other people, share all of my failures, help them in their successes, and just be a sliver of part of their breakthrough.
They're going to be very lucky people and very blessed to work with you for sure.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you. That's kind. I'm honored to even be able to do it. So yeah, start really
Yes.
small, and then we'll see what happens. But my goal is just to have massive, significant impact.
And
That's
you know
it.
what? You've had massive, significant impact in a lot of people's lives, but imagine the amount of people that you're going to be able to have super massive impact on doing just 20 people that you coach and really going deep with them.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
Jeremy Forcier,
It's going to
the
be great.
one that you've already proven who you are and what you've done. I mean, you're still going to be doing things the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
But to be able to impact people like that, that's going to be amazing. And you're doing it your way,
Yes.
not in any
100%.
other structure, in your own
Yeah.
way, in your own structure, one-on-one with people.
Yeah.
And it's
100%.
amazing. So I'm super excited to hear more about it and to see when
Awesome.
you start launching it. And it's going to be an amazing community. So
Well,
thank
thank
you
you.
for sharing that with us. I'm
Yeah.
super excited about that.
You're the first person I've even told. I haven't said one word. I'm just like, I'm doing my own thing, and but I am really pumped on it, man. Like, it's definitely like the thing that wakes me up at 2 a.m, not with anxiety, but with like, oh, I woke up before my alarm and I think it might be 5 a.m. And I'm like, oh my God, it's only 2 a.m. Like, I'm definitely like feeling the juices right now of excitement, and it's a great place to be.
As I get a little bit older, I'm realizing a lot of things that I never really thought about when I was in my 30s and 40s. And one of them is how important your impact is on people.
Yeah.
What do you want? What legacy do you want to leave? What do you want to leave? And there's so many people that die with all the knowledge in their head, all their experiences in their head that they didn't really share with anyone else. And you're going to be able to do that. And I just love that. I love coaching people too, because I did it for the last 13 years. I was coaching loan officers and I absolutely loved every minute of it. I loved it. The reason I stepped away is because I had that awakening, Jeremy, that I thought when you were talking about experiencing loss,
Yeah.
I didn't want to lose I didn't want to lose that experience of coaching people one-on-one, but I knew that if I didn't, I couldn't but I couldn't grow the loan team training business
Yeah.
as long as I was coaching all those people one-on-one. So I
Yeah.
had to make a choice. And
Yeah, we're all faced with really difficult choices all the time. And you're right. You can't do everything at the highest level without sacrificing something.
yes,
So you have to get really, clarity is another word that I live by, right? And I'm always seeking it because I can get confused really easy sometimes. Like, because I want to do it all too. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Like, I just do, but having a filter, like one of my non-negotiables every single day is to say no to one thing. Like, that's
a great
literally
non-negotiable.
one of my non-negotiables. Say no to one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes
Yeah.
a big difference. That's what opens up the opportunities for the other things that you need to explore.
It does. But when you said that about opening up the other opportunities, I have had so many opportunities since I made this decision to stop coaching. It's been 2 or 3 months now, and
Yeah.
every opportunity is just opening up things that I never imagined, or actually, I knew they would open up. I was sure of that, and that's why I made the decision. But to see it happening is really fun. It's really fun, and it helps you know that you made the right decision.
100%.
But it wasn't easy because I loved what I was doing.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard when you love everything that you do. You have to
Yeah.
make choices.
Hey, you're lucky. You're blessed that you get to even say that. It's a privilege to be able to say that out loud.
Yeah, it really is. Thank you so much for being here today. Is
Yeah.
there anything that you can think of to tell loan officers to encourage them right now at this time? It's September 24th today. We're recording this 2025. What would you say to encourage loan officers right now?
I mean, the number one thing for me, and as we get into the fourth quarter, is that you're still in the fourth quarter. Like the year is not even close to over yet. You still
Yeah.
have 3 full months plus as of today, like to really get after it. And just take those micro actions, those micro steps. Like if you're not clear on what you need to do to have more success, like engage with trainings and then listen to something and actually execute it the next day. Don't
Mhm.
wait to be confident. So I don't remember where I read this. I read this somewhere, but it stuck with me. And it was that most people, they don't do something because they want to be confident in it. But in order to be confident in it, they think they have to be really competent, right? And then if they're confident and they're competent, then they'll have the courage to commit, the 4 C's, right? And the reality is that it works in reverse order, right? It literally works in reverse order. So you first have to commit to the thing that you're scared to do or that you know you need to do. Then you have to, after you commit, have the courage, right, to go out and do the activities. Once you have the courage for that, then you'll get competent over time and over the amount of reps that you're doing the thing that you're not good at yet. And that's what actually builds competence. And if you don't do it in that order, you're just going to be preparing to prepare to prepare to prepare all the time. And you're
Yes.
never going to actually take any action. So in closing, I'd encourage anyone to, if you still have goals for like to reach a certain dollar amount that you want to make in commissions, or a certain number of referral partners you want to add, or you have this system that you've been saying you want to work on like all year and you haven't done it, you still have a whole quarter. Go after it and do it. Don't worry about being competent at the thing that you don't know yet. Just make a micro, have commitment, have courage, take a step towards it in the right direction. Once you take one step, the second step is easier, and so on and so forth.
I love it. Well, thank you for leaving us with words of wisdom like that. And I'm super excited for you, and I really appreciate you being here. You have been a great friend for many years, and I've always looked up to you. You're a great coach, and those people that start to coach with you are going to be very, very blessed.
Well, thanks a million for having me on. It's lovely to see you. I love you. You were amazing. Tell Kev I said what's up, and it's just incredible to see like how much you have grown and the impact that you have left in the industry. It's just, to see you come from when I was just starting to like coach, right? And then see to you become like a masterful coach for a long time, and now building this incredible business and platform that you built. And it's also, I want leave everyone with this. What she built is 100% servant leader based, right? She is serving all of these people from a servant leadership standpoint. That's what we can all take away from this talk, is that we have to build something that is in of service as well. And you'll watch everything blow up around you in a good way.
Thank you, Jeremy. That means a lot to me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
So-
Well, hey, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. And let's stay connected.
Okay, sounds good. All right, have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Irene.
Thanks again.